They're the Australian superstar known for hit singles like Get Me Out of Here and Be Your Man. Now in the US, G-Flip is gaining attention for more than just their music. They're making headlines for their whirlwind romance turned marriage with Selling Sunset star Chrishell Stause. Last week, G-Flip released their newest album, Drummer, inspired by their wife, and we're chatting with them all about it. This is Advocate Now. Congrats on your new album, Drummer. Tell me about this album and how it differs from some of your previous music.
Yeah, so I guess like the title implies, the album has a lot of drumming in it. Drumming is my first instrument. I started playing drums when I was 9. I only started singing like in my early 20s. So the album is everything I wanted as a kid. I always wanted a pop rock album that was very drum focused, and growing up looking at pop stars, there was never a pop star that's main instrument was drums. So I always dreamed of that, having a pop album that is drum focused. So that's what it is.
And you have talked about how drumming has fostered your relationship with music. I mean, it's pretty rare to see non-male drummers. Is that something that you took note of as a kid when you were first learning the instrument? And did that almost motivate you to want to do it more?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess growing up, I identify as non-binary now, but growing up as a girl, there wasn't many other drummers. After high school, I went and studied music, and I majored in drums, and I was the only female in all of that. So, yeah, it's always been something that I think has been a bit different for me growing up. But at the same time, I just love drums. Like, no matter my gender, just me as a soul and as a human, like I've just loved drumming, and I just love kit, and I just love playing, and I just love the feeling when you play drums. You're using all your limbs and you're making like an entire groove with like all of your body. So it's just like the coolest instrument to me.
You came out in 2021. With your ever-growing stardom, how have you navigated your own relationship with gender identity?
Yeah, I guess this word non-binary kept floating around, and more people, Sam Smith, Demi Lovato came out at the time. And I was exploring what non-binary meant, and I never really understood it, but until I educated myself and really like read up and, talked to people about what it meant and what it is to be non-binary, then I realized like that has been me my whole entire life. My whole entire life, I've question myself, and as a like young kid, I remember looking in the mirror and being like, I just feel like you're like half a dude and half a like girl, and like a mix of genders in my brain. Like that's how I just felt like in my brain. And then I learned that that's like a normal thing that happens, and like you can identify however you want. But in my head, I've always kind of identified as this non-binary person, but I never had the words or educated myself on it. And until that, I was like, that's what I've been my whole life. And my whole life makes sense now. Like I get myself better. I feel way more euphoric coming out non-binary. It just makes sense to me. And, the world's still getting educated. I get a lot of hate because of it. A lot of people don't understand it, but there's a difference between gender and sex. So like that's one of the biggest misconceptions that people need to wrap their head around. Like sex and gender are actually different. So, but yeah, it's been great, since that day that I came out. And as I said just before, like it made me feel so euphoric.
And congrats on tying the knot with your partner, Chrishell Stause. You two seem to have such a loving and authentic relationship. How would you say your relationship has inspired or affected your music?
Oh, well, she's got a couple of songs on the album that she's definitely inspired. And although she's inspired like lyrically some of the songs, definitely she's just such a good supporter of me. And she genuinely likes my music because before, you know, we like met, she'd actually heard of me and listened to my music before, which was nice. But yeah, she's a great supporter. Like, she's on tour with me at the moment, and she's, you know, front row wearing the merch. She cut the merch to make it more like feminine for herself, but yeah, she's such a good supporter, and she just gets like the workload that has to come in with this career. I feel like we've got similar jobs, they're just in different areas.
Yeah.
Music and TV. So she fully understands that what it takes and the grueling work ethic that you have, and she's just amazing and awesome. And it's been fun having her on the road. So yeah, she's here doing another interview. We've got interviews at the exact same time.
Oh, is she right now? Yeah, speaking
Yeah.
of her TV career, Chrishell, of course, most people know that she's a star on the Netflix show Selling Sunset, and you two have made countless headlines, but your relationship has also brought a lot of positive awareness to the non-binary community. Did you expect that when you two initially went public?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I've said in a few interviews, I personally wasn't sure about going on to Selling Sunset. It just, you know, it just didn't feel like my kind of thing or something that would just be in my future. I worked so hard just being a musician, and like becoming a reality star was a little bit strange to me. But then we did have big chats about how, you know, us being a queer, healthy couple, me being non-binary on a show that gets so many eyes on it, and how that can change and impact the world. And, you know, after having those chats, we were like, wow, you know, you're put in a position where you can actually, you know, really help people without even knowing, by just showing up. So yeah, we decided to show up, and we just did some low-key scenes, just me and Chrishell together. But the impact we've felt already straight away when the season aired, we had an influx of, you know, hatred, but also really, really lovely, beautiful messages from the non-binary and trans community and the LGBTQIA plus community, sending us love and saying how important it is. And I just know growing up how representation is so, so important. So, you know, giving our best to represent, you know, our community is all we could do. So we decided to do it no matter how much flack we were going to get because of it.
And you have become such a powerful voice for the non-binary community, the queer community as a whole. I want to talk about your song Waste of Space, because it's such a beautiful and honest recount of your own experience as a non-binary person. Why did you want to release that song? And were you hesitant at all to be so honest with fans?
Yeah, I feel like in my music, I'm always very honest. It's kind of like reading my diary. I always just say it how it is. And lyrically, I'm not super poetic, like using imagery and stuff. I just kind of say it how it is. So when I wrote Waste of Space, I just thought about, you know, what I was like as a kid and not fitting in and not understanding myself. And I wanted to write a song based off that. And then I released this song on International Non-Binary People's Day, which felt really good to do. So yeah, and the whole music video for it, the whole production crew, they're all non-binary and trans. So, and then everyone involved as cast were all non-binary as well. So it just felt like a very honest song and a raw song. And I haven't heard that many songs about being non-binary personally. So I thought that it would have been nice for the non-binary community to have a song that they can connect to.
When people hear your music and they tell you that they feel seen or understood by listening to your music, what does that mean to you?
Oh, it makes me feel so good inside. I feel like although I love bashing drums and singing and playing shows, a massive part of my artist project is to be the person I didn't have as a kid, which was, you know, a non-binary queer figure that is happy and joyful and can be a leader. So I feel like if I can somewhat be, the person I never had as a kid to someone else, then I've done my job on this planet. So I just want to do the best job I can and, help people along the way and make people feel whole inside and make people not feel alone.
I'm Sonia Baghdadi. Thanks for watching and advocating. For more stories and content like this, visit advocate.com and advocatechannel.com.